We are Gold Ivy.
Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth.
Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what creates space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production. Are you tired of the endless battle with cravings? Do you dream of managing your appetite without the hassle, the side effects, or the hefty price tag?
Then it's time to meet Dr. Stephanie. She's not just a doctor of pharmacy. She's a certified diabetes educator and a leading hormone expert. She listened to your struggles and formulated a gentle, natural solution, GLP Wonder.
GLP Wonder is a revolutionary supplement designed for an easier path to appetite control and hunger management. How? It works by combining powerful natural ingredients like areocitrin and green tea extract to naturally support your body's own GLP-1 levels. This signals fullness to your brain, curbs those persistent cravings, and even helps fight insulin spikes, that stubborn, fat-storing hormone.
The result? Reduced hunger, better appetite control, and a more natural way to stay on track with your diet and goals. It's effective, it's safe, and it's affordable. Just one capsule per day for powerful results.
GLP Wonder is now easier than ever to find. Look for Dr. Stephanie's GLP Wonder at Walgreens, CVS, and Walmart. And we are thrilled to announce that you can now find it in Target stores nationwide.
Stop waiting and start winning the fight against cravings today. Find your nearest store, or to learn more and shop the full Dr. Stephanie's collection, visit drstephanies.com. And for a limited time, use code GOLDIVY30 for 30% off all Dr. Stephanie products at drstephanies.com.
And now to this episode of the Ivy Unleashed podcast. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. I am pumped. Brooke is pumped. We have a guest back that has a lot of updates for us. We have a lot of questions for. The last episode we had with him was moving, emotional,
manifesting a woman,
inspiring. Wow. Oh my gosh. We were just barely talking about long distance running and relationships, and we're going to dive into it. But we have back Roger Rojas. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed.
Hello. I'm actually excited to hear about what I said and what has happened since then.
Yeah, has it been was it just a year ago?
I think a year ago.
218, episode 218 was your episode. So if you want to go back and hear Roger talk about the big changes he made, like pretty extreme changes in his life and how they were really paying off. I think you weren't quite a year into that journey. So did you start?
September 17th, 2024.
Okay. We talked after that. So yeah, it's been a year and change since we talked to you last recording.
Lots happened.
So we weren't doing this last time we were talking with you. So we're going to dive in. We have awesome questions for Roger, but what we've been starting every episode with is instant impact. So if you could tell our listeners something that is just, will make a big impact on their life right off the bat here, what comes to mind for you?
Give up drugs, alcohol, and smoking.
Okay.
What day are you on now?
Day, I'm not sure, but I'm going on over 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what would you say have been the biggest changes since then? What have you noticed?
I'm living the life that God created me the life that He created me to live.
That's powerful.
Yeah. There's no more, like in anyone else, we have a day. I like to say I have moments, but I don't have bad days. Mm-hmm. I definitely have moments, but not bad days. Because the fundamental things that ground me the most, every time I've prayed for something, He already gave it to me. It just didn't come the way I wanted, but it was already there.
Say more.
So the minute things that I think of immediately is it was like the other day, I have so many, so I want to dumb it down to something not outrageous, because that happens to me too.
We like outrageous.
No, I want the big.
No, this is a good one. The last 2 months, I've been training by myself. And I think a part of it was choice, but then the other part was just me wanting to do it. That part, I'm not sure. And I was not feeling in my groove of running. And my identity is definitely that now. And as I was running, I was losing that passion for running. And I'm like, does this mean it's over? Does this mean that I need to find something else? And then the very next day, I ran with a group of friends. And I was like, ooh, I'm so back. And then the next day, I ran with another group. And then the next day, I ran with another group. And during that third run on the sunrise, I remember like being emotional because as I run, I think about life. And I thought to myself, it's not that I ever lost the groove of it. It was the fact that I was choosing to isolate myself. And I believe in life, you're not supposed to live in isolation. You're supposed to live in community. And so when I was praying to God of like, hey, what are my next steps of running? Or like, why is this mental kind of block happening to me? It was not that it wasn't ever there. It's just the fact that I wasn't choosing to step into the thing that he's already given me, which is community. And so I think a lot of times in life, the things that we desire are already there. It just doesn't come in this like huge sign that says, go here or do this or grab this or meet with these people. It's just like making the decision of, let me go to a space and surround myself with individuals that either motivate me, that are my friends, that want to listen to me, or maybe not listen to me at all, or just want to be able to physically push me. And usually that's where you find the answers of the things that you pray for.
Ooh, there's
love
so
that.
much to unpack in that.
And I do want to preface, like, this is not an episode about running. It is so much deeper than that. It is going to be an episode of inspiration for people listening who want to level up, who maybe feel stuck, because Roger is such a beautiful picture of getting really intentional on what you want, co-creating with God, making it happen. And so we want to talk about, in the past year, these shifts that you've made. So you mentioned running. We know, not a big runner, but I'm still here and I want those listening. I don't want you to hear running and turn this off.
Yeah. So let's pause on running for a second, because what you just said is about community, and you made a huge move. You moved to Florida since we spoke with you last. You were living in California,
Right.
like Hollywood area, weren't you?
Yeah, so I resided in Hollywood, California for 5 years, and then I actually came home. So I was born in Miami, but I had left 13 years ago. And when I came home, I think a lot of people have this identity of coming home. It's almost like going back into your childhood, which I do have that. I have beautiful relationships, and most of my family's still here. But when I came home, I made the decision to move to a different part of Miami. So I grew up in the downtown Brickell area. I made the decision to move to Miami Beach, and at the time, in Miami Beach, it's like a joke that there's three bridges that like gets you across. That's like once you're on the beach, you never leave the beach. And so my identity and a lot of my friendships were not on the beach. And I moved here with a reset 7 months ago, and it was scary at the beginning, but very similar to what I mentioned to start. And you already mentioned this, which I think is great, is like my identity of my life. A big part of it is running, but I've realized that the base of it is community. And I think you can find community in your workplace. You can find community in things that you love. You can find community in your church, where most people do. And you can find community with like your neighbor. And so I told myself I need to place myself in environments that not only push me mentally, physically, and spiritually, which are all the things that I named, but it also is like I need to become someone that someone wants to be next to. And so a big identity shift for me was like doing all the things that I know fundamentally are good, right? As seen on social, volunteering, community service, crushing 5Ks, making the podium, like that identity of like him, which I think as a man, that's like the most fulfilling thing, which is like pushing yourself in every way possible. But then in that process, having conversations like these of like, how did you do it? Where did you go? And what were the things that, that allowed you to get there, that I've realized is the journey. The thing that emotionally, I would say probably now second hardest thing I've ever done in my life, which is when I completed my first marathon at the beginning of the year, the Miami one. Mile 1 through 16, at the time, the girl that I was talking to, who's now my girlfriend, ran with me.
What's
and
her
we
name?
had made a joke, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Yeah,
Anna
she's
the
amazing.
runner.
And so I'll tell you, this is an amazing life perspective. So before the race started, her and I were in the talking mode of things. And she says to me, hey, at any point of the race, because at that time she thought I was a lot faster than her. And she said, at any point of the race, if you need to keep going and leave me behind, you keep going. This is your race. And I was like, that is the most sexiest, but yet most demeaning, but yes, the most exciting thing I've ever heard a girl say to me. Because she was like, go do you and do what you have to do, leave me behind. But at the same time, I was like, no, I'm not leaving you behind. Long and behold, mile 16 comes around. And again, this is Miami Marathon, 20,000 people, about 18 run the half. But during that time, everyone's still together. She starts to overpass me. And I start to slow down because I'm beginning to hit what is known as the wall. For me, it happened at mile 16. And my legs just started to give out. She didn't see that happening, and she kept going. And because that was the game plan, we stuck to the game plan. Mile 16 through 26 were hands down the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. Not because I couldn't do it, because my body was telling me otherwise. I think we always hear about athletes who speak on their body giving up before their mind. And I never understood that. And it was at that race that I got extremely humbled, because I'm someone who is very much dedicated to my body and pushing myself, where I realized as bad as I wanted to keep going, my body kept wanting to stop. Because that I later learned I was extremely under replenished and dehydrated. And so your body goes into this state where essentially your muscles start to fatigue, and like literally my feet would be turning inwards. And then the pain of every step was just giving out. And at that point, I had a good amount of family members at the end of the race. I'm trying to look cool with this girl that I'm talking to, attempting to be my girlfriend. And I said to myself, there's no way that I'm going to allow myself to not finish. And so I end up going on this roller coaster of emotions that I later used as motivation to dedicate every mile to someone who's been impactful in my life of my sobriety and running. And so I always made sure that I made every mile, I made it, and I would send it to that person or that group, where I dedicated to cousins, uncles, and things like that. And I was sending it to them on the spot, because when they would listen, most of the people did, they would respond immediately. And I was like, I just got to keep going. I just got to keep going. They know I'm racing. Now they know I'm moving. I have my family there. And what I realized that the marathon, it wasn't the beginning, because everyone's excited, eager, and happy. And it wasn't the ending, because when it's over, it's over. Like, you get the medal and then everyone just goes home. What I realized, my favorite part of the race, too early for this. My favorite part of the race was the journey. And I was like, that is the epitome of life. It's like you prepare for these moments, and then when you're in it, you're like, oh, this is crazy. And then when you're done, you're like, that was the whole thing. It was like, that is the epitome of life. It was the people alongside the way. I vividly remember mile 20. I'm crossing right what is known as in front of the Keeps Game Bridge. I'm dedicating it to my business partner, and my body just like, I fall. Like, it's crazy. I can't explain. My body just gives up. A police approaches me. He's trying to flag down an ambulance. And I say to him, like, get the F off of me. I'm not doing this. I need to keep going. And I kept running to run away from the cop in the ambulance that was trying to like stop me. And then I keep going. My body gives up. And then like an angel, some random dude just kind of like grabs me and just keeps pushing me forward. I get to North Miami. It was like a crossing of North Miami Avenue and Brickell. I'm holding onto my knees. I vividly remember these two random women coming to my left and my right. They were just watching. They were giving out icy hot patches. They put it on my body. They don't ask for me for my name. They don't ask me for my money. And they're like, keep going. I get to the underpass underneath what is known the Brickell City Center. And at this point of the race, it's like mile 20. And between mile 1 and 20, I had seen maybe one family member, because most of them were at the end. It was my uncle, like way before, but that's when it's like super exciting and everyone's like excited to be running, when it's like you don't need it. Mile 20 comes around, and I posted the video, and I had a friend literally waiting for me on a corner. And my body just like is done. It's done. It's done. It's done. And I still remember this guy who had the Spanish flag on from Spain picks me up, and he's like, keep going. And then my friend just screams, Roger, I love you. You got to keep going. And I'm like, all right. And then I was facing a bridge. Miami has a ton of bridges. It's probably like one of the hardest races. And I go up the bridge, and I tell you, like, you would have thought this was like a telenovela. I get up the bridge, and I'm just like, what is happening? Like, my body just doesn't want to, it just doesn't want to function. A complete stranger comes, gives me a water bottle, pours it on top of me. Boom, boom, boom. I get to finish. And then now what is known as, like, ironically enough, my viral moment. My body, again, it's seen in the video. You literally see my right leg just tweaking, like turning, like inside, like that, because my body's just fatiguing. My muscles are giving out. And it's my sister and my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law, who I love, Gabriel, jumps over the fence. picks me up, and then you just see like literally both my calves and my legs like straining out, like, yo, you're just not running. And I tell myself there's no way I've ran 26 miles to be carried. And so I kind of like push them off. And at the end of the Miami Marathon, it's like all these stands, probably like 2,000 people that are sitting there. And I stop again. And then like there's this massive uproar of a scream to like keep going. I push them off and I push through the finish line. That moment ends up being like one of my most viral moments. Gets picked up on a ton of things, just talking about like, one, the community side of things, two, the relentlessness of just finishing. And then three, along the way too, there was other people trying to pick me up. And there was like incredible I started a running page because of it. It's called Run with Roger, and I have it pinned. Like this amazing photographer caught the moment of me like dying, of my brother-in-law grabbing me, pushing him off, and finishing. And it got picked up on a big media channel called LA Bible, LAD Bible. They're like huge, millions and millions of followers across the channels. And I gained like millions and millions of views. And the reason I share that is not to talk about how cool I am or the fact that I finished the marathon. I shared it because it wasn't me looking cool training. It wasn't me racing. It wasn't me finishing podium. What I realized, like, that moment is the epitome of the race, which is, one, you're doing something that makes you feel extremely uncomfortable. Two, realizing that the most hardest things in your life, you're not meant to be in isolation. You're not meant to do it alone. Because I had strangers and family at the end. And that three, that your mind is the greatest challenge in your life of you choosing to do something great or not. Because there was many times that my body told me no. But at the end of it, I said, there's no way I'm going to allow my body to give out on me to do the thing that I know that I have people like putting their time, energy, and focus on for me to be there, for them to be there, and then knowing that I don't finish. And so with all that, I realized, and the lesson here is that no matter what you do, you show up to your best abilities, but don't do it alone. I just can't undermine that. It's like life is not meant to be lived in isolation. It's meant to be lived in community. And it's not even because the community part of like needing fans or needing cheering people. It's like, no, like there's this sense of purpose that you have of like, all right, I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my friends. I'm doing this to inspire my family. Like all my family members that were there, I don't think any of them, I want to say one, but even then I'm questioning it. I know my aunt from New York has completed a half marathon, but no one in my family has ever ran a marathon. And I have three uncles, 3 aunts, and like 16 first cousins, like my immediate. And then out of my siblings, no one has ran more than 5 miles. So it's like there's that essence of like, I could do it, you could do it too. That I think is so important. It's like you forget, it's like you don't need to inspire millions of followers. Like how about you just inspire your dad, your mom, your siblings, your cousins, and being like, hey, I'm no different than you. We're the same DNA. And then if I'm able and you're able, if you have two legs, you could do it. And some people don't even have 2 legs. I saw people completing wheelchairs. It's like you're capable. And so I think that is like the epitome of life, the running and racing and completing something.
How did you know it was mind over matter versus this is dangerous if I keep going?
If you've listened to the podcast for a while, you know I used to be the biggest skeptic about supplements. I thought, I can definitely get everything I need from food. But then I started to realize that high-quality, clean supplements weren't about replacing a healthy diet. They were about optimizing my health in a way I never thought possible. For instance, I discovered what so many women eventually do. I was deficient in magnesium. Now that it's part of my routine, I'm sleeping better and I feel absolutely amazing. It made me realize that quality matters more than anything.
When it comes to taking supplements, ingredient integrity is a must for us both, and that's why we trust Smidge. Smidge offers a small line of foundational supplements, core nutrients, including 100% whole food vitamins, and digestive support for people who prioritize real food but know even the best diets have gaps. They obsess over ingredient integrity, crafting minimal, clean products with 0 additives and rich nutrients meticulously sourced from around the world. We both love Smidge's magnesium, but with my chronic gut health issues, Smidge's digestive support is my tried and true. I use their digestive enzymes every single day before meals, and it has been a game changer in post-meal bloat, fatigue, and overall digestion for me. If you have any digestive issues, their enzymes, including the original and HCl plus enzymes, are a must try.
Smidge just dropped some incredible whole food supplements that we've been loving. First up, their Kakadu Plum. Most vitamin C supplements are just mass-produced synthetic chemicals, but this is the real deal from Australia. It's pure, whole food vitamin C that your body actually knows how to use for glowing skin and a rock-solid immune system.
I'm also obsessed with their Australian emu oil. You won't find this at a typical health store. It's the best source of vitamin K2, MK4, which is a total game changer for women's bone and heart health. While plant-based K2 is hard for your body to process, Smidge's emu oil is already pre-converted, so your body absorbs it instantly.
So, if you want a brand that is truly backed by research, derived from sustainable principles, and only wants to provide you with the freshest, highest quality nutrients, it's Smidge.
Head over to getsmidge.com to check out their magnesium, emu oil, kakadu plum, and their fantastic digestive enzymes. And don't forget to use our code GOLDIVY10 at checkout for 10% off.
And now back to the show.
I know someone died during the marathon, but
That one?
I didn't. Say again?
Someone died during that marathon?
Yeah, because it's what I later learned. Don't quote me on where I cited this, but I know it's one of the top 3 most challenging marathons in the country outside of Hawaii because of the mountains, and it's because of the humidity level, the bridges, and the heat. Yeah, it's like the humidity.
Your body can't get the sweat out, so because of the humidity.
It's like 80-90% of humidity.
I'm laughing not because you said someone died. I'm laughing because you said, I never thought that. It's not dangerous, but someone died.
It was 0%. Like during the race, it was 0%. Like there wasn't one part of me thinking that this is dangerous.
Because I feel like people watching marathons, and I've seen a lot of people in person who do what you do, and it's like, okay, your body is clearly telling you something. And I think a lot of people listening that aren't runners, right, that could be their argument. So what would you say to someone who's like, okay, but there is a limit of, are you pushing yourself too hard where now it becomes dangerous?
I don't think like that. I wish I could tell you that I have an answer for that, but what's the alternative? You sitting at home and watching someone else run a marathon?
I think it's such an individual experience, and like being in your body. I think once your brain goes out, like, and you can't think or see, I feel like that's where your body's really telling you something.
It's different because your body's going out versus you're mentally still there. Is that what you're saying?
The thing I'll also include, I probably wasn't, I was definitely not as mentally ready to really, I was a runner, but I wasn't like, there's marathon running. There's different battles, like a 5K, 10K, half and full. They all have their own strategy. I've noticed and realized that after the fact. And the marathon prep is a real thing. Marathon nutrition is a real thing. Something that I did terribly wrong is that I decided to not consume not one bit of water or have a gel, maybe 2 gels in the 16 miles, which was my greatest mistake.
Why?
That I later learned. So anyone listening, if you were saying, hey, it's my first marathon, what I do now is then keep it in the 30-minute range or the 3-mile range where I'll consume a gel. I'll have one before and then every 3 miles after that. I highly recommend to do that gel training in practice, because if your body's not accustomed to that, you can get also terribly sick. Yeah. And your body just sees all these carbs rushing into your body. It's unfamiliar. And then you need to go to the bathroom, and that stomach pain is very sharp, which also could be a big reason why you can't finish, because the pain is very hard. But I also think that's the epitome of life. Your greatest battles are your greatest testimonies and stories. So if you're deciding to do something extremely hard, it becomes your testimony to your willpower, to your strength, and again, the motivation and inspiration to talk to your friends about it and be that person that says, hey, I didn't read this in the book, I did it. Yeah. I didn't watch a TikTok video, I did it.
I think too, just you explaining in marathon, and I think about business, like I think there's 4 things that I can say in my life that are just identical. It's like being a mother, like raising children, running marathons, running a business, and just being a person living life. They're so similar in a lot of things that you said, needing community. I think a lot of fulfillment comes in them when you're pushing yourself to be the best version, the best mom or the best entrepreneur or the best, whatever it is, whatever your thing is that you do, marathoning, replace that with whatever you love to do. But I think it's the journey of it. Like you said, it's not when you get the Grammy, right? It's like the hard work that you put in the studio when you're a singer and all of the people that helped you along the way, right? It's like the the best thing we can do, I think, is stretch ourselves in a way that aligns with who we are, having that community to help you, trying to do big things and showing people what's possible and showing yourself what's possible. This isn't something we were going to ask you, but it's something that I struggle with and I'm thinking about a lot lately. And I'm wondering how you feel about this with being a visible person, having social channels, right? And running marathons. A lot of it feels good because you're getting validation from others. You're getting praise for running the marathon, or you're seeing the views or the viral, whatever. And I'm curious how, like, thinking about fulfillment from it, I'm like, okay, am I getting fulfillment from this? Or is it, I'm getting so much validation that it just feels good? And so what's that line for you where it's like an internal fulfillment versus you feel good because you're getting externally validated?
Good question.
That's a great question. So I would say something that I did to come back to my feelings of like my why with running. I started running without my phone and my headphones. And so at that point, then I knew I was making the decision to run for me. And then I have moments of conscious decision making of, hey, when I run, I will be filming myself to be posting this on social. So I think the intentionality of like when I'm running, what am I doing it for? And separating the two, because I do think it's important. Because if you're filming yourself, if you film the entire time, then at that point you're a performer, which is fine. But I think to your point is you need to have both, because you are the person running and you are the person enduring the pain. And I think that's why the community part is so important, is because when you're in community, it's like trauma bonding. It's like, hey, we're all going to the same thing at the same time. And then, but we're also coming out on the other side of it together. And it's the best of both worlds to be able to do that. And so for me, that's what I've done. I'll have runs where I'll intentionally run with a friend. I was just with him where last week, Tuesday, we ran with no headphones and I had my phone put away and I didn't touch it. And it was to only talk. And then I would have runs like yesterday, where I did this. I'm a part of this amazing community, Sweat 8 a.m.s on Sundays, where it's very high rocks focused. And I don't have my phone up and running, but I told myself during these 3 workouts in that hour, I will film myself. And I signaled to someone like, hey, I'm about to do this run really, really fast. Can you grab 10 seconds of it? And I think when you have that mental of like, all right, this is what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and the outcome of it, it allows you to be able to flow more of being present in the workout and also check off the social box of being able to film and showcase what you're doing. Because I also think that's important. It's not the fact of like you just filming to film. It's like reminding yourself that like every time you share what you're doing, there's someone who is watching, and not the watching that's the type that would negatively affect you. It's more of like you're inspiring someone, and you just do that every single day. I'm just like so big on that. It's like you just keep stacking your days. Yeah. And then every now and then you have that one friend. It's like you're doing too much, or like you need to relax.
Yeah. What do your rest days look like?
Yeah, it's a big question for a lot of people. I think I was about to post it. I still haven't. I would say I spend just as much time recovering as I do training. And so I try at least once a week of like nothing. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but for the most part of like one day of nothing, of just like stretching. But I train just as much as I recover. So today I did about a 50-minute chest workout, and then I spent 35 minutes doing contrast therapy. So like 5 minutes in the steam, a minute, 2 minutes in the cold plunge at like 36, 37. And then I did that back and forth like 4 or 5 times.
Okay, I got to switch gears because I feel like I gotta get into from exercise into this relationship that's happened since we spoke last, because I know we have limited time. And what I love about following you is before you were in a relationship, and it was something you got really emotional about last time we talked about, because you desperately wanted, you want a family, and you want to be a husband, and you want to be a dad. And a lot of your posts, instead of like looking for women and trying to attract them, you really focused on being the man that's worthy of having that person. And you would say, you had such a good reel that was like, dude, I'm someone's husband right now. Like eventually I will be someone's husband. So I got to work on me and be the best person for her. And so how did you come to that realization that was super important focus on being the person before you're even trying to go search them out.
Yeah. So, yeah, being single for 5 years, I think you have this like endless pursuit of self. And then through that 5 years of not seeing anyone, when I made that decision to, let go of, go into sobriety, I also led into that phase of like, all right, like become the man that I need to become to not only attract her, but for her to be able to see me and think I need to be with him, not I should be with him, and it all goes back to self. And in that process, I felt like not only did I fall in love with the person I'm becoming, that I knew the thing that I was desiring would be there on the path. And I'm 100% a true testament to that. I am a part of a run club that meets on Wednesdays at 4:40 in the morning every Wednesday. So it's speed work, like on the track. We do about 1.7, 1.8 mile warm up, and then we do anywhere from 5 to 6 miles on the track at 4:40 in the morning on a Wednesday. And so that week I was coming off, it was the month of December. A lot of amazing things that I'm a part of / participate in that revolve around community service and giving back, mixed with training. And that week at 4:40, I won Runner of the Week. And for you to have context like how big this group is, anywhere from 50 to 100 people show up. And so at that time, I'm not very social. I'm there to work. I'm there to kill myself. And I'm also there to become like the best by pushing myself. So my level of social is like not that high. So at that time, I vividly remember people partnered up and had seen this girl, and that girl, who's not my girlfriend, one of the things I was doing in my spirituality was 21 days of prayer and fast. And one of the things I gave up in my fasting was like eyes of promiscuity. So if I witnessed a woman with another man, I wouldn't approach her. And so it's like, it wouldn't be like, is she with him? Is he not? It's like, they look like they're together. I'm good. In that scenario, because they were partnered up, I thought she was with him and I thought they were dating. So I didn't talk to her. Long behold, about 3 days later or 4, Saturday morning, I'm part of another run club that meets at 6:30 in the morning. We do anywhere from 6 to 10 miles every Saturday with the sun. And I invited a friend. It was December 27th. And I just vividly remember running up the bridge and seeing a girl in front of me. I was like, wow, this girl's moving. I run pretty fast, like anywhere from like a 7:30 to an 8:30 for like 8 to 10 mile pace. And then I'm like, that day, I think we did 11 or 12 miles. And I just remember running down the Venetian Causeway, and she has the alpha flies, and there's a distinctive sound that it makes. It sounds like horses coming behind you. And I remember looking back and being like, man, this girl's like behind me and she's keeping up. So at the end of our workout, I didn't put it together that this was the same girl from 440 that I was looking at and kind of interested in. That she says to me, she's like, I know who you are. You won Runner of the Week last week for 440. And so for 440 winning Runner of the Week, they talk about you for like 2 minutes. So it's almost like a glorified about me. And so they had done that, and I gave my praise and thanks. So I share that because the only reason she recognized me wasn't because I desired her. It's because I was doing the thing I should have been doing, which is focused on me and being the best version of me. And that was the accumulation of the last 2 years, I believe, for that moment of like being able to talk about my service, being able to talk about my commitment to showing up, being able to talk about me, crushing my workouts, being able to talk about me caring and pouring into others, that she witnessed me. And so she says that to me, and I don't even skip a beat. At that point, I don't even think I asked her name. I said, are you single?
To the point.
And she says, straight to the point. And she says, yes. I said, do you work tomorrow morning? And she goes, no. I go, do you like Pilates? She goes, yeah. I jump on my class pass and I book 2 spots at my favorite Pilates studio, and I turn on my phone. I was like, we're booked for 9:30 a.m. with my favorite instructor. I was like, I need your number in case you cancel or anything changes. So you got to give me your number.
If you've been listening to Ivy Unleashed, you know how passionate we are about getting to the root cause of our health. Whether it's navigating a chronic health journey or managing perimenopause as an athlete, finding true balance can feel impossible when your body feels out of sync.
That's why we're so excited to introduce you to Deborah Marigopoulos, FNP, affectionately known to many as the Hormone Queen.
After decades of treating complex neuroimmune endocrine conditions, Deborah realized that managing individual symptoms wasn't enough. The key wasn't just supporting isolated hormones, it was nourishing the hypothalamus, the master control center of the entire body.
When she realized no product on the market met this crucial clinical need, she drew on decades of research and patient care to invent and formulate Genesis Gold.
At the heart of Genesis Gold are the sacred 7 hypothalamic amino acids, the only blend in the world engineered specifically to optimize hypothalamic function. It's designed to keep your hormones in harmony by balancing adrenal, thyroid, and sex hormones, enhance mitochondrial energy production, and basal metabolic rate.
Balance brain chemistry for better mood, sleep, memory, and focus. Support healthy digestion, immune function, and cellular detoxification. Wow.
Over 20 years later, Deborah still takes Genesis Gold every single day, and it has helped thousands of patients restore balance when they had run out of options.
We are so excited to be starting our own Genesis Gold journey, and we want you to join us. Head over to genesisgold.com and use promo code GOLDIVY at checkout for 10% off your order. That's code GOLDIVY at checkout.
Now back to the show.
So she immediately puts her phone number in and kind of leave it like that. And we go our separate ways. And I had a habit of post runs. I would go to my personal gym my gym that I'm dedicated to here on Miami Beach. And I would go into the sauna and cold plunge. And I had my hat on. And again, this goes back to the whole storyline of like doing what you do for you and the right person's on that path. You don't have to like go break through walls or travel long distances to sometimes find them. I have my sauna hat on and she ends up walking in with two of her girlfriends. And I had no idea we go to the same gym. And I had no idea that she even lived anywhere near me because at that point I had only seen her for the first time in my life a week before. And the part that's really funny is that my interaction with her was in English. My background is Latin. My father's Cuban, my mother's Colombian. And one of her girlfriends starts interviewing her about her life. And she's speaking to her in Spanish, thinking that I don't speak Spanish. So she's asking her everything. When was your last boyfriend? Why did you break up with him? What's the guy that you're into? Do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? What is your life like? Full blown.
In the sauna.
As if this was in the sauna, as if this was like a profile page to getting to know someone. And I was supposed to be there for 6 minutes. I ended up staying for 18. And anyone that knows anything about saunas, that's a lot.
That's a long time.
To just not move. And I'm taking all this information in to hear every single answer. And at the moment, she didn't know that I spoke Spanish. So she was just like an open book, saying everything.
Poor girl.
And yeah, fast forward to the very next day, we do the Pilates class. You would have thought if there was an Olympic trial team, you would have thought I was trying to go for the Olympics. I was holding every move, doing every position, drenched in sweat.
Trying to impress her.
Going to the point the instructor was calling me out of like how incredible I was doing. And so to continue the conversation, the vibe for any single guys going, I think the two most important things you could do when you court a woman is that you make things as easy as possible and you create as little friction. And you take care of things so they don't have to think. And so for me, it was post-workout. What did people like post-workout? A smoothie. What do also people like? A little walk that's convenient. So around the corner, there's a cafe. And I said, hey, I looked at her after the Pilates. And I was like, did you love the class? She's like, yes. I turned around my phone and I was like, hey, I got us 2 smoothies around the corner. We got to go and grab them and pick them up. So she's like, sure. It's around the corner. It's easy. You already took care of it. It's already paid for. Let's go and grab it. So between going from the Pilates studio to there to then sitting there for an hour and a half, I asked her all the same questions that girl asked her in the sauna, just in a different order, to see if all the stories would line up.
And
to see if she was truthful. Yeah, every single bit. To the point that I was like, what's the catch? But she didn't know that, and she didn't pick up on any of that. And kind of the rest was history. Our first date after that was on the beach, just hanging out, enjoying one another's time. And then I think like between like date 2 or 3, then was church. And then within like 3 months, I had her meeting my grandmother, which is like my mother pretty much, and the approval of anything and everything in my life.
At what point did you tell her that you speak Spanish and knew exactly what she was saying in the sauna?
So that's a great question. So that my dear friend, we're all having dinner together, and he says to her, what was the point that you knew? Because she's been single for a little bit as well. And being in Miami and being as fit as she is, she people are desiring, like creating interest in her. And she laughs and she goes, actually, it was like after one of our first dates. And he goes, oh, that's funny you bring up the first dates. And she then puts it together that in that moment, not only was I in the sauna, that I had picked up on everything. And then I told her my tactic that I used on her for the whole cafe situation. She was like, look at me like that, giggling and laughing and being able to tell a story. She didn't know that I spoke Spanish in the sauna. And so it was probably like that moment where she laughed and she's like, "Oh, I didn't think of that. Or, I didn't think you spoke Spanish. That's why I answered the way I answered." And it was like jokingly, I remember her responding when the girl asked her, like, "What does your future husband look like?" And she's like describing me. And I was like, "He's right here. He's right over here." And at that point, I had known her for like 10 minutes. And I will say, this is very cliche, but very, very true. The moment I met her, I knew she was my wife. I called my best friend and I said, "I met my wife. Give me 30 days and she's going to think the same."
Damn.
Wow.
I love it though, because everything you're saying, whether it's your relationship with her, your relationship with running, it was you pouring into you and attracting these things, attracting a following, viral videos. It was all because you were doing you, and that in return inspired others. Inspired a girl.
I tell her that all the time, where I say to her, "You don't need me and I don't need you." But I love the fact that when we come together, we're able to talk about the things we want to talk about and hold grounded. And we're able to enjoy life more because of our presence in each other's life. She is so rock solid in her finances. She's rock solid in her spirituality. She's rock solid in most areas of her life. And I could say the same for me. And I always remind her that we individually hold our own ground. But when we come together, it's like, it's strong. And that's like, that's a very, very, very big thing I would say for any single guy is like, you want to cast a vision onto your relationship and tell her, "Hey, I'm not in front of you. You're not in front of me. We're side by side. And we're doing this thing we call life together. And that when moments hit, which they do, you can come to me." And I would also really, really, the thing I've learned is to not be as emotional being with her and to confide in another man to have those moments, because I think women fundamentally are already very emotional. They were built that way. That's why they're great nurturers. That's why they're great at serving everyone around them. That I think when you attack emotion with emotion, it sometimes, what I realize, creates this like push of like not feeling safe and not wanting to talk about certain things. Where I've realized for her is like, as a man, when you fundamentally like take care of your body, take care of your spirituality and things that matter, she can come to you and she knows like, "Hey, this is my rock. I'm good. I'm grounded." And you speak life into the relationship. You speak vision into things. Like I tell her, the thing I look forward to most is becoming raisins with you, like us and like skin and like getting like that weird, like that's nasty. Like that's what I look forward to. And then when she has moments of imperfection, I've realized too, it's like, I saw this, it was a scene in a TV show that she was watching. It was called Beauty. The whole premise of the show is quite interesting, but the identity of it is like you would inject yourself with this like youth thing, and so if you were in a 60-year-old body, you would turn into like someone in your late 20s to look stunning. And in the show, there's a twist where the guy who founded the medicine, the kids end up doing to their mother, who the whole time didn't want to do it, and she was like in her late 80s, and that person ends up coming back as Bella Hadid. She's the actress, and then that main character is Ashton Kutcher. And in the scene, there's this polarizing moment where he's looking at her, and it's Bella Hadid. She's like diamond out, looks stunning. The whole thing, again, the context of beauty to the eyes, she looks pretty. And she looks at him and says to me, "You took away the one thing that mattered to me most." And he's like, "What is that?" And she's like, "The scars and my skin." And he's like, "What do you mean? Like, look at you. You're beautiful. You have no dead skin anywhere. It's all tight. You're glowing." And then she says something that really, really stuck with me. She's like, "The scars and the skin told the story of my life. It shows the life lessons that I had and the things that make me me. And you took that away from me." And I kind of reflected that onto her in our future of being like, hey, if there are moments of like you not feeling yourself like as a woman, which I get in this sense of like self of being beautiful, that version of you, even though it's not as exciting to you, is I'm okay and accepting of it, of however your body transforms or becomes. I'm acknowledging that is life and that is a part of growing old with someone, to be able to move into that space of just not just admiring what is perfect now, right? And being like, hey, those scars, I do love them. Hey, that skin that's gonna like just kind of grow into what it grows, I'll take it for what it is.
Yeah.
But so I think that's a huge thing that I think as a single guy that anyone takes away from this is like devote as much time into yourself, and what's meant for you is not taken, what's meant for you is not confusing, and what's meant for you will be on that path. Like it'll just be there.
I love that. And that's not even only for men, right? That's anyone listening can take
I'm
that.
just speaking in the context of a man, because I think a lot of the time, one, me being one, but two, it's like we're pushed on this narrative of like chase and go after her.
Yeah.
And I do believe there's a sense of courting, which is important, which is like, hey, giving the attention, time, energy, dedicating your calendar to your spouse and doing things like that. I definitely believe that's important, but it also is like fundamentally when you're single, it's like, don't get lost in just going to the flower shop and getting her flowers.
Yeah.
Like that is important, but that's not the thing that she then says to her friends of like, that's my man. No, it becomes you getting after it, like get your bag, make your money, become really strong in your fitness, in your spirituality. And it's like, that's the thing that then the woman says like, all right, I'm excited to not only be with him, but to call him my man. And that goes back to just, again, being you and doing the most you can do for you.
We talked about so much. I love all of this, and I feel like we could talk to you for hours. But what would you say your 3 gold stars are today? Like top 3 things you want to leave listeners with. What comes to mind?
Don't get so caught up on consuming what the world tells you. Go back to the one thing that is tried and true, and whatever spiritual place you're in, whatever that important book for me, it's the Bible. It's the greatest book written in mankind. It will get you through your days. It'll allow you to see things that you need to see. I think there's this massive narrative of the world that'll tell you to live a certain way, listen to certain things, and do certain things that you don't need to do. I think the boring and traditional stuff is the things that will give you the most peace.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 1 gold star. What are your other 2?
I believe as man, or it applies to female, but I'm just giving context of me. I think we're always juggling family, business, spirituality, friends. And I believe in that juggle, business could fall, but you can make more money. You could lose friends, you could make more. The one ball that can't be dropped is family. Because either your parents brought you into this world, you only have those siblings once. And unfortunately, it's just the way the world is set up and how life happens. Sometimes we think we have all these times with certain people and it's like it ends. And so I would say that's just the one ball, do not drop. Make time for your mom, show up, make time for your dad and call him. Literally, I do this all the time. I call my brother, my sister, and like, what's up? And I was like, nothing. I just literally want to say hi. And they're like, okay. So I would say just do that. Do that as much as you can. With just keeping family at the core.
I love that. And 3?
Travel, even if it means doing a staycation, because I think traveling feeds the soul. It gives you, it makes you, it creates the desire of curiosity. And I think we lose that as we grow as adults. And it makes you feel uncomfortable, but I think that's what excites you. And so you need those kind of feelings to come back. Traveling feeds the soul. Even if it's local to a town that you could drive to. I'm not saying for you to jump on a plane and go to Eastern Europe, even though that would be great too. If it's a place that does speak another language, do that. Because again, it goes back to what I said of just making you feel uncomfortable and driving that level of curiosity, because we live on this planet and there's so many languages spoken, there's so many different things happening. And I think that is the whole point of living, is like being able to expose yourself to different lifestyles outside of whatever bubble you may be in or city that you were born in.
Unleashing Ivy, we're going to do more rapid fire. So just a quick thought.
Okay, your 1 daily non-negotiable that you feel like you get the biggest return for your time and investment on.
Working out.
I've been seeing a lot of our algorithm is around sobriety, because I think we always like those things. So we're like so proud of anybody that's completely sober, and we toy with it all the time too. What would you say? Because I heard sobriety is a superpower. What is it that sobriety gives you that makes it makes your what's your superpower that you get from sobriety?
Clarity.
Oh, that's a good one.
100%.
And not confusion in how I see life, because I feel it at a level that is the way that it should be felt, which is just like a clear baseline towards what I believe is like the best way to see things, just in clearness and not confusion. Alcohol created a lot of confusion in my life.
Yeah.
It really the baseline of emotions, the baseline of perception, the baseline of my physical abilities was all skewed based off the consuming of something that literally could be used to clean floors and help mechanics clean cars. And so it's like, it's pretty straightforward for me. It's like, just really think about what you're drinking. You know, it's not meant to be in your body. It's not something that the way I view things now, I always tell people, they're like, hey, when I'm starting, like, you know, there's one person I'm mentoring right now. He's amazing. I'll shout him out, Alex. I met him 5 weeks ago, heavier set guy. He's a good looking guy, just heavier set. I would say around like between 250 to 270 range. And I heard comments, people talking about his weight. And I said to him, hey, dude, like, I don't know you. I was literally sitting next to him. I was like, but we got to change the way people see you. I'm going to tell you, this is my story, what I've done. I would immediately just start running, eat less, start running, and fast. Through fast, you start to feel things and hear things, and you create clarity. And I was like, I don't know if you drink or smoke or do any of that, but you need to stop that immediately. And in 6 weeks, he's dropped tons of weight. Every week I talk to him, his 5K time is going down by minutes. And when I look back on the advice I gave him, I told him to, again, what I mentioned earlier is like, don't listen to the world. The world will tell you to consume a lot of things and try a lot of things that do not help you. They do not. Just go to the base of things. If you're questioning to eat it, it's a no.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Well, last question. Last time you were on, we asked you if you could go back and tell younger Roger one thing. I want to switch it. If you could tell future Roger one thing, what would you tell him? Or let me ask that. What?
I know.
Okay.
Did I make you happy?
Why is that important to you?
Did I do all the things I said I was going to do? Yeah.
You want to make future you proud of you.
Yeah, I think just now, especially that I have a partner, I talk about the future a lot with her. And I just think like, hey, like, I don't know what's going to happen in between, but I was like, I want to have the right things in place, like the little things that most people freak out about. And another huge thing that in our very first date I spoke to her about was my financial situation. And I think a lot of people hide that. And I think that created such an ease in how we move and how we do dates and how we travel and just how we operate as a couple, where there's not this like, you know, I keep it very, very realistic because I live a very great life for myself, but with her, I live a good life now. And to be able to live the great life that I'm living with myself, I tell her, I was like, hey, I'm doing these certain moves to be able to achieve that. And I think once you remove the veil of not only quote unquote what you make, but like what your future lies and what you're doing, it allows you to like live in a stronger bond. So an example was a few weeks ago, she shared with me, hey, I have an X amount of money coming in. Where should I invest it? And I'm, again, as a leader and as a man, I was like, hey, actually today I invested 5K doing X, Y, and Z. This is what I did. And this is why I did it. If you want to do the same, this is how I did it. I used Robinhood, and I gave her the map and let her make the decision. So I think that'll just create a stronger bond. And like when you win, not only mentally, physically, and financially, it's like, that's the type of things that like no one's walking away from that. It's like in every area of life, you're checking off things. And I think as men, especially in the world we live in today, there's this big perception of like, you have to look a certain way all the time. You have to act a certain way all the time. It's like, no, like you remove that veil for your partner to be able to speak into things. And I think you speak life into them, not only spiritually, but also like financially, being like, hey, I'm working on this, I'm doing this, and this is how I'm doing it. And being able to maneuver. So when you don't create expectations on like always doing things a certain way. You're like, hey, this is coming up. This is why I can't do this.
Communication is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I over communicate for sure. I over communicate. You know, I share my location. I nothing to hide. She asks me questions. I answer immediately. If there's an issue, I'm a big person on let's sit down and talk now. If she texts me, there's a problem, I say, separate yourself from wherever you are. I'm calling you right now. Like I do not.
It's what Brooke's husband does now. She's married too, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I do not play. When she says call me, I immediately tell someone I need 2 minutes, and I call her.
Good.
When she says something's wrong, I said separate. We're talking about this now. I don't allow things to linger. And so I immediately go at it. And I think that's a testament to like myself and like how I treat my life and what I do things. If my friends were to ask me, my birthday was at the beginning of the year, and I united 15 amazing men. And one thing that my friend did I thought was really special that I always try to do now, if we go around the table saying one or two great things about that person, and the consistent thing that I heard was like, he stays true to his word and he acts very fast. And so it's like, that is one thing that I pride myself on. And so it's like, if I do that with my friends, you better believe I'm doing that in my relationship.
And I think that's possible when you have clarity, when you know who you are, when you're grounded, when you're firm in your faith.
Yeah. And I do think there's a certain level of like, I tell her too, with her, is like, we're growing, but like the fundamentals are the same, like our spirituality, my dedication to myself. Like on Saturday or Sunday, I woke up and I did 6 miles, and I did it 2 hours before her, and she responded, "You did 6 miles. I'm going to do 7." Or like I did.
That 10. A girl.
So it's like, yeah.
We like her.
So it's like, no, she's a rock star. We casually did a race like 3 weeks ago, and she went into it like, I haven't been running, and she came out in first and won cash and shoes and stuff. Like she's a beast.
She's a beast.
So it's like, she definitely motivates me. So in that regard.
Well, we're so happy for you, Roger.
Happy.
This has been so fun to catch up. You have the most beautiful updates, and that's because you've been so intentional. You've taken the time. You've stayed grounded in your spirituality. You've done all the things you said you're going to do. So like future you right now did make that Roger happy that we talked to over a year ago. Like you have been doing the things. And so I hope you're just so proud of yourself, and we're so grateful that we got to have time with you. And I can't wait for the next catch up and the updates that you're going to have.
The better it gets, the better it gets.
Seriously. But as you know, we end every episode with a quote, your piece of gold. What would you like to sign us off with today?
Just because it's right in front of me, actually, there's something at my door. I'm going to see. Hold on one sec.
What is it?
Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
So I have this sign at my door that says, "There's a reason for your life. You must will your mind to understand your power within. What I see is already in you. Take one step at a time. This is your day to elevate within. Have immense abundance in your faith, and believe that this is your moment." So I have that sign when I step out every day. Before I put on my shoes. Yeah.
Beautiful. This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold. We want to thank you and encourage you to celebrate yourself for taking the time to learn and get inspired in your one beautiful life. And if this podcast means something to you, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take 30 seconds to help support our mission to keep bringing you inspiring stories and guests.
First, following the podcast is important because it helps you never miss an episode. To do this, just go to the Ivy Unleashed podcast show page on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow.
While you're there, if you'd be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review and share your favorite episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful for your support.
We are thrilled you're here and are so happy that you're taking time to prioritize your wellness, self-discovery, and growth with us. Additionally, we want to remind you that this podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We are not licensed therapists, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals.